So I wanted to make another quick video. I think it makes more sense how they were able to pull off the doctor thing. So with the advent of smartphones about 20 years ago, we started having a lot of web-based MD and the ability to, if you see a patient, they come in and they give you general symptoms, you can type it in. There's all kinds of apps you can buy into where you just type in the symptom and you can give a general diagnosis and prognosis of the patient. And I think that's how this is becoming, giving them the ability to, pull this shit off. I have confirmed that Joseph Robio, who's currently wanted, I know of warrants in at least 13 states for previous dental fraud across the eastern seaboard, has taken on the alias of Robert Joseph Robio. This conceited prick keeps using the same name because he's been feeling direct protection from the Rhode Island State Police and other local agencies. He's living on Livingworth Street in Lincoln, Rhode Island. I have his cell phone numbers, his home phone numbers, his whole fucking operation. And it boggles my mind because he's working at Thunder Miss. So, well, no, I go to Thunder Miss. So it's mind-boggling to me that this son of a bitch would still be out there. And he actually went and got a permission, somehow certed himself for Bufferin as well with his fake degrees. It's mind-boggling. I figured out how you could pull it off, though, because you're using basically WebMD and whatever other medical suite software that's out there, so that you can just say, if someone comes, I got this, I got that, they type it in, okay, yeah, it's probably this. So, and it gives a general prognosis for what treatment, medical plan to in place for treatment as far as prescriptions or whatever else, whatever triage it may require. But it's mind-boggling. This is all clearly linked to September 11th. I know it's going to boggle most people's minds, but I told you, my investigation and torture started when I went to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right after the FBI released the room and investigated the room the terrorist stayed in at a hotel. Robio was somebody that we were assigned concurrently in the investigation with financial ties, and it's all linked into an electronic harassment grid. As soon as I went after Robio, I began being targeted by the members of the Rhode Island State Police, the Narragansett Police Department. They got South Kingston to go after me a little bit, but not a lot. Not like Narragansett and the state police. And I mean, I'm being actively harassed. Tonal frequencies, the Tyonitis I mentioned in previous videos, where they're using tonal frequencies and sounds. If I put earplugs next to the V2K, the voices, you can just stick your fingers in here and the voices stop on the electronic harassment. What's concerning me is the stuff they're saying. I have no doubt that these people are molesting people in these dentist office and chairs. The behavior I witnessed out of John and Roger on Narragansett Boulevard was complete disgusting. Zero self-control. I'm God and I don't judge people, but these people are trash. I mean, they are completely dregs with no self-control. I watched him 4 times a day go into the Johnson & Wales dorms. And I mean, I would have Johnson & Wales security because they saw me going after these people. I took it to these people's ass. I went out there, photographed their cars. Fucking, the accountant came out and tried to puff up on me, and I fucking checked him back. The Johnson & Wales security would pull in and be like, we don't know what to do with these motherfuckers. They were afraid of him, and now I know why, because when I put direct heat to these motherfuckers, I've been tortured ever since. And the focal point of the torture, when I moved from Narragansett Boulevard to Hope Valley, they told me, stay the fuck away from Joseph Robio. You're fucking dead, man, if you don't. All this bullshit. So the state police, there's 5 people I know, and I can pick them out of a lineup that I know are actively involved in protecting Mr. Robio at the Rhode Island State Police. As well as I know other people from Smithfield that are directly involved with these scumbags, as well as members of the Narragansett Police Department that I know for a fact. And I know who their contacts been because I've taken surveillance, I've taken photographs of the 2 of them together. I've caught them at the North End Yacht Club there. off of up on that road back there by Old Pine and shit. I chased one of them there one day, and photographed. I've taken surveillance photographs of them together. Basically, the thing is, this is definitely all tied to September the 11th. The financing definitely came from that operation, and it was also they used the electronic means of harassment to instigate the Saudis to do it, and as well as being a degree in identity mill. There's sex trafficking going on of minors, as well as regular, just straight up prostitution, sex trafficking, drug trafficking. And now they're also not just dealing in street drugs and narcotics, they're also dealing in a pill mill. I mean, they're setting up dental doctors, fake. I can only imagine the scope as this begins to unfold. But considering it was a massive takeover attempt, and it was also the sickest part of the whole thing was they tried to make the good and wholesome and innocent people look like the guilty party. And to shadow us as the perpetrators of these acts, when it was really them, because they wanted to remove all controls. They knew we were doing things like running, when all the conspiracies started coming out, I didn't fall for it. I was involved with units that would go up and try to honeypot pedophiles as they were released from federal prison. I know the level of care our government puts into making sure your children are safe. So they were trying to rip that apart. They know that there's wholesome members of the government, and they've started a full-out attack via electronic harassment. They're using technology that we banned internationally in the 60s. This technology is not even legal. Where they acquired it from and who's selling it, that's going to be a big blowback in the days ahead. But it's crazy. So when you figure out that this is all tied to September 11th, and that's why there were so many conspiracies around it, and that it was homegrown, and that it was completely insane, and that it's tied to fucking people making fake identities, committing all kinds of mortgage fraud and fucking investment frauds, and security exchange issues. And they're so cocky that they feel so safe from their protection from the state police and their ability to isolate and blackmail or selectively electronically harass people, that this cocksucker Robio is working at Fundamist of Woonsocket and living in Lincoln, Rhode Island. This guy has warrants in 13 states that I know, but I think it might actually be 23 states where they committed dental fraud. This is fucking mind-boggling to know and to see. I mean, how the fuck the police officers that are involved in this, they must all be people that have got hired on fake degrees to protect the operation. So, I mean, it is what it is.